Welcome back. Now, there have been ongoing public concerns that for years now, the South African Air Force has been operating on a limited capacity to properly execute its mandate, and that in the main due to budget constraints, but also unmaintained and grounded aircraft. Now, according to a recent investigative report that was published by News 24, it's alleged that the Air Force has only 2 fighter jets, 1 helicopter, and 3 fighter jet trainers as operable military aircraft. Now, with more than 330 fighter jets, helicopters and planes used to rescue wounded soldiers been lying idle for years awaiting repairs. That's what the report says.
What a week! Military showdown across two different worlds. In Africa and in Iran, in the Middle East, in the Western Asia. As if these events have anything to do with each other, but of course not. But they give a comparison between the differences between Africans and any other group of people, on the planet Earth, as per se. In this case, we can talk about Iran, the Arab world, and the Western Asians. And my comment on the first video and the first video clip that about South Africa, obviously nothing, no bad intentions, but I honestly believe these things shouldn't happen, and these people in power shouldn't entertain the media to that point of allowing them asking these questions. At some point, we need to draw a line in the democracy to say, okay, this is no longer about democracy, but this is actually national security. We need to draw a line at some point and say, okay, no, this is actually classified information. There could be rumors. Whoever the News 24 writer was and who wrote the article, wherever they get the information, of course, it has become a tendency of all this information, which is not supposed to be really exposed to the public like that. It should be dealt with within. But yeah, but for me, the main concern, something that bothers me a lot as a pro-African, as a young person growing up, I ask myself, but why Africa? Why us? Why you and me? Why people of this skin? Look at Iran. They build their own weapons, they make their own weapons, and they have something to showcase and say, look, you can't just mess with us. We have our own stuff, irregardless. If we want to talk about sanctions, boy, if we want to talk about whatever influence from the West, whatever, Iran has it all. Iran has it the worst than Africa can imagine to begin to talk about. But look at what they're doing. They are finding ways to figure it out and sort themselves out and still be that powerful and still build their own country for themselves without anybody, with all the sanctions that exist in the world. But you and I, bro, you and I, black people, we always at the tail, at the back, where everybody else, it's like I don't want to be in front. When they count, they must count me first from the back. I don't understand why you and I, as black people, as Africans, we are always the West. I've not much knowledge about militaries and stuff in Africa, but if South Africa is having it that terrible, I mean, I'm sure the rest of Africa there's nothing, right? If the big brother is it has holes like that, I cannot imagine to talk about the rest of Africa. You know, what are we doing? What is going on? What's missing? You know, in the equation, so that we can also be able to figure out something, make some stuff of our own. You know, this is 2025. You know, probably most of the armies in Africa rely on guerrilla warfare, which is have foot soldiers and some tanks. And but in 2025, where uh, your adversary, the most powerful and the most advanced, can bomb you from the comfort of their home, you won't even see them. So how are you gonna defend yourself with your fucking guerrilla warfare thing? You know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. We're not moving with the times. If you don't feel disgusted by the state of Africa, I don't know what is wrong with you. Really, I mean, what is this all about? You know, if we really want to go deep into the technologies that we have in all the militaries that we have in Africa, bro, they don't even count us. They don't even worry. We're not a threat to them. It's like zero. We are like ants. They can just wipe us out easily without even having to come to Africa. Ah, man. Yeah. I have no idea. But it does make me feel so sad. I mean, how do you begin to feel proud of yourself? Like, I'm a black man. We are actually equal with everybody else in the world. But how? You have fuck all. So what do you mean you are equal? You can't even make anything. You can't fucking make a needle. Like, make this thin wire and make a hole. You have to import everything. I have no idea. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts deep inside if you really, really sit down and think about it. You know. I don't know. Is it politics or whatever the fuck it is? But it's really, really uncomfortable. And it shouldn't happen. We should also strive to build ourselves. You know, the Iranians, no matter how difficult of situations that they go through, those orcs, they are willing to fight for you. They are willing to put their lives on the line to defend themselves. They stand together as a people. They can do anything. You can kill them all you want. You can bomb them for 20 years, but they are still That's what we call resilience. Not Africans very resilient because we are used to live in poverty. That's not the resilience that we are talking about. There's no resilience here. You know, what the fuck? Our resilience in Africa is to be able to eat vegetables with no fish oil, and eating unhealthy food, and being poor. That's our resilience. No, we're resilient. We will survive. Yes. Yeah, it's so sad. And we're cowards, and we're scared, and we don't have this thing in us of also wanting to compete. You know, like how, like, I want to feel proud of my country. I want to feel proud of the continent. I want to feel proud of us as black people. Yeah, boy, we could do this. But it's not there because you can clearly tell that no, we're not trying anything. We're not trying any harder to try and do anything. I mean, it's been years and years, decades and decades, and Africa is still going in circles like this. Circles like the same place over and over and over again, with the same leaders, the same people, the same things, the same problems, same economy. 20 years later, we're still complaining about the same thing: colonization, Western influence, and poor leadership. What are we doing? We cannot figure. Other groups of people, like the Arabs and them, they also had it worse before. I mean, they were also poor and all that, but they get to a point where you're like, there's actually something happening over there. these people are actually people to reckon with. We can start actually they're actually recognizing the world for something that they do. They now have something to do, because they are doing something. They sit down and they are so patriotic and committed to defending themselves and bettering themselves. They have a certain moral code that they stand for, for their own people and for their own countries and for their own religions and things like that. But here, it says division left, right, and center, corruption left and right and center, selfishness. I want to eat for myself. It's supposed to be me, and it's supposed to be me and my little country. It's supposed to be me and my little tribe there in the corner. At the end of the day, here we are, as Africans, as weak as we are, as vulnerable as we are, that if anybody chooses to attack us, we can't defend ourselves. We don't have any military capabilities. We don't have any military technology. We don't develop anything. We have to buy from other people, or even not only buy, but just rely on being given. Hopefully, Russia is going to support us. Hopefully, China is going to support us. A weak mind, which doesn't feel like, okay, fuck, we actually need to do something for ourselves as a people, rather than just being known for having natural resources. We didn't do anything to get the natural resources. They're just there. We just lucky that we find ourselves in a continent with natural resources. But if you don't know anything to do with it, if you can't take the natural resource that you have, the gold, and actually make a watch, and actually make uh, a ring, and actually take that uranium that you have and make a battery, and actually fucking take the coltan and make a chip. The fuck, bro? But this is nothing. Then you literally just depend on digging it, and they even have to come and dig for you because you can't even dig for yourself. Um, you, all right, whatever.